Good morning, everyone. So good to be here. One thing Pastor Murray forgot to announce is that there's Bible study today. Hey, got some class. That's right, Bible study is exciting, and I'm leading it, so it's even better. Anyway, last week I was teaching at our other church, Grace Life. I was teaching our youth service. And we were talking about I was teaching about how God can speak to us. And it reminded me of a story in my life that I just wanted to share with you, is how God can speak to us, how he spoke to me in my life. It was like half a year ago, like 5-6 months ago, I was meeting with Jeffrey Broadbents, for those of you who know him. And I was meeting with him at this chicken place on Lake? Roscoe's. Thank you. Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. Very black place. And so I was meeting with him there, and he was sitting there, and normally I'm used to meeting with him, and he's doing most of the talking. Most of the time, for those of you that know him, his personality, very strong-minded, very strong-voiced individual, and so I was used to him talking. I was expecting him to sit down, listen, and enjoy my chicken and waffles. And so I'm talking with him, and then he starts just asking me these really hard, very just to the heart questions, and I'm so thrown off. And so it's like I just answer as they come. And one of the questions he asked me was, "Ed, what are 3 of the most important and impactful moments in your life?" Oh, what a hard question to ask while I'm just eating waffles and chicken. And so I'm there just like, okay, let me think. And so I list off 2 of them. And I'm like, these are okay. Yeah, these are pretty big. There probably are deeper ones than these 2, but I'll just go with those. And so I'm thinking of this 3rd one. I'm really struggling with it. And one comes to mind. And I didn't think it was that big, but it turned out to be much bigger as I spoke it out. One side note is that I'm learning that there's a lot of power in us speaking things out loud and us hearing our own voice, us hearing what we're saying. There's a lot of ways we can even minister to ourselves. God can speak to us through us. And so this was definitely one of those moments. And I'll just give you a little context to this story that this moment I was about to tell Jeff. I have a friend that I've known for almost all my life. I've known him since Imperial Schools existed. Since I was like 5 or 4 years old, I've known him. And his name is Ryan. And all through my life, for whatever reason, it's always been him, his brother, his dad. And for whatever reason, they've always been so welcoming to everyone, especially me. And so all my life, on Fridays, I would always go to their house, hang out, sleep over, and they would always feed me out, see movies with them, go out, just do activities, just all the time, just for a good 10 years of my life. From I was like 10 up until I was like 19 or 20. I was doing this every single week, and so they always treated me like I was their family. They always welcomed me, and it was great. He's one of my best friends to this day still. And so I was telling Jeff this story, and I was thinking, okay, so there was this impactful moment with them, with the father, more specifically. And it was at my mother's memorial service when I was 20 years old. And I was doing my thing and not knowing how to process the death at the time. So I'm just kind of hanging out at this memorial service. And I remember he comes up to me. There are a lot of people throughout the entire service are just coming up to me, giving me their condolences. And for those of you who have encountered a heavier death in your life, a lot of them just kind of go by you because you're not thinking about that. You're not thinking about what they're saying. You're just focused on the person you lost. And so I'm not really thinking about this. An entire flood of people come up to me and my family giving me their condolences. I don't remember any of them, even though they're all part of the church. But none of them stuck out to me. 2 of them did. One was just so casual, but it was almost funny how casual it was. But this is the other one that really stuck out to me. So Ryan's dad came up to me, and he didn't say, "I'm sorry for your loss." He didn't say anything. He just looked at me, like gave me a hug, and he nodded at me and he said, "I'll see you at home." Oh, at that time that meant so much to me, because at that time I felt like I lost my home. I felt like I lost so much of me. And so hearing him say something so inclusive, something so genuine, "I'll see you at home," like I'm already his family, that meant the world to me. And so I remember when I was telling Jeff the story, suddenly I just started crying a lot, like half a mouthful of waffles. So unromantic the way this was coming out. I'm like, why am I crying? I've never cried over this story before. It's because I've never spoken it out loud before. I've never heard myself say this, that this was important to me. And so I'm there just crying in the middle of this Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, trying to dry my tears with this syrup stained napkin. So embarrassed the entire time. But I had just realized just how God speaks to all of us in all of our lives. There's many lessons I learned from that story, but that was one of them, how whether we believe in God or not, doesn't change that he exists, doesn't change that we're included within his family and his love. And it doesn't mean that he isn't working within our lives. And so it just reminded me of that story, that God has worked through all of our lives, and that there are countless things he has done in our lives that I want to say with 100% surety that we don't even know yet. When we go back and we recount the story, we might suddenly see God within it, as we know God is outside of time and space, and so he can work and operate within that realm. And so that was just something that really touched me, and that reminded me of just how inclusive our God is, and how wonderful it is to know that we serve a Father who calls us family, even to those who deny him, even to those who will hate his name. He will always call them family. He will always include them in his love. And so I just want to share that story.